Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. Lisa is my name and I'm 27 female. I got married just a week ago, but my big day was ruined by my stepsister and my ex-boyfriend. The past me would have easily forgiven them, but that's not gonna be the current me. They turned me into who I am today, and I thank them for that. I'm getting pissed off as I type, so I would dive straight to the issue at hand. Before I continue, here's a backstory so you understand my plight even better and also make your judgment flawless. My mom remarried my stepdad when I was just 5 after my dad died from a heart attack. And then she had my stepsister. Let's call her Anita, 22 female. Growing up, I treated Anita like my biological sister. We did almost everything together and it was fun. During our bad days, we consoled each other. We did quarrel at times, but it was nothing more than a few exchanges of words over some silly stuff, and we quickly got over it. I started dating Josh, 27 male, 4 years ago. I had a well-paying job, so did Josh. We were just an amazing couple and everything went smoothly 6 months into our dating. However, Josh lost his job after his company faced a huge financial crisis and laid off many workers. He claimed he had no savings and his rent was about to expire as well, so I did just what I thought was right. I allowed him to move in with me for the time being while he looked for a job. But paying the bills and feeding both of us was way tougher than I could ever imagine, so I started an online job as well to cover part of the bills. This continued for almost 4 months and Josh still hadn't gotten a job. It turns out all those days when I left for work, he made no attempts to search for a job. The following month, I could not take it any longer, so I started pulling some strings and connections, and luckily, I got him a job that paid well. Now guys, 2 months after Josh started working, he left my apartment and rented his own. A week later, he told me over the phone we should break up. Just like that, all my efforts in helping him went down the drain. I asked him to give me an explanation, and he told me to my face that I wasn't the kind of woman he wanted to marry. I got him the job, and I could equally ruin him after how he treated me, but I chose to let go instead. I went over to my parents' house and cried my heart out that night. Anita came over to console me, and I was grateful that she was there with me at the moment when I needed her the most, but how stupid I was. Unknown to me, Anita was the main force behind my breakup with Josh. She and Josh had started dating secretly behind me even when we were still together. All the visits Josh paid me those days were mainly to see Anita, but the naive and foolish me was so happy thinking I got an awesome boyfriend. I remember how Anita told me never to accept Josh again if he came pleading for his mistake, not knowing that she just wanted to secure her position. Well, life goes on even after a breakup, so I moved on. I'm currently married to Kelvin, my classmate in high school. Now let's get to the case. After my breakup with Josh, I still wasn't aware that he was dating Anita until last week at my wedding. Kelvin is from a super rich home, so our wedding was glamorous, ranging from the decorations to the rings. I bet everything had the smell of wealth. It was supposed to be a very memorable occasion, but Josh and Anita ruined my big day. Turns out, Anita and Josh planned to get engaged at my wedding without my knowledge. She told our parents and they even agreed. The only one in the darkness was me, the owner of the day. Like, how could they? Anita knew very well that I would be against her idea, so she purposely didn't inform me. Just before the wedding, I saw Josh. His presence made me angry because he didn't invite me. I told Anita to drive him out. Only then did she drop the bombshell. She then revealed that she invited him because they were dating. I was surprised and dumbfounded. Of all the guys in this world, why Josh? But then I let him stay after giving it a quick thought. The dumbest mistake I have ever made. I don't have the right to decide who dates him, and most importantly, it was my big day. And it wouldn't be worth ruining it because of him. Just after exchanging our vows and rings, Josh got up and stood right in the middle of my wedding, which I didn't even officially invite him to, and proposed to Anita. The crowd was taken by surprise and started cheering him up, and there was my ever-dramatic stepsis taking her time to go get the ring. I had enough of their drama, so I asked the security to throw them out. During the refreshments, I made sure Josh and Anita were not allowed inside. Right after the wedding, the drama began. My mom and stepdad came and started telling me how I just embarrassed my sister in front of everyone. It wasn't cool of me. I asked them if their definition of fun was for me to allow them to ruin my big day. I was so furious and about to leave when Anita also came in, crying that I made her lose face in front of so many people. I told her she could do anything she wanted with Josh anywhere she liked, but not at my wedding. I have tolerated and had enough of her entitled behavior, so she should get it clear that no matter who Josh was to her, he would forever remain my ex who hurt me in the past. Besides, my husband can't sponsor my ex-boyfriend's engagement. She claimed I was cruel, but I made her aware that it wasn't yet over because I would sue them for ruining my wedding. With how rich Calvin is, that wouldn't be necessary, but I think it's high time I teach my stepsister and Josh a lesson for messing with the wrong person. With the salary Josh earns, I bet paying just 5% of the wedding expenses would be a tug of war. So am I the a-hole? Update. Thanks for your comments on my post. Here is an update. Kelvin and I did take the issue to court. Josh and Anita were asked to compensate us with $50,000. After the court session, I received many awful text messages from Anita calling me all sorts of names. But I replied to her by saying there is nothing like a free engagement party. Even if it did exist, not at my wedding. She should blame herself for choosing to side with Josh to hurt me. My parents, my stepdad in particular, called me claiming that I should waive the compensation because he looked after me all these years. I told him to stay out of the issue, as it had nothing to do with them. I want to settle the scores my way and nothing will change my mind. The past few days were very stressful for me, but with things finally falling into place, I could finally get a good night's sleep tonight and wake up early to embark on my honeymoon with Kelvin in Paris. Thanks for being there for me all this while. You're not the a-hole OP. Your sister, your ex, and your parents are. Let's start with your parents. They knew your sister was dating your ex and that he was going to propose to her during your wedding ceremony, and they gave her the go-ahead to do so without permission. That makes them a-holes. Even if they didn't want to get in between you and your sister, they should have told her to inform you about her boyfriend's plans. Your sister and your ex are a-holes, but they're also very bold. They deserve to be sued. In what world is getting engaged to your sister's ex-boyfriend during her wedding a good idea? Especially given the circumstances that surround the breakup. I don't blame you for being mad at them and wanting payback. I would advise you to just let it all go and enjoy your honeymoon. Don't let them take that away too. Story 2. My youngest son Ian, 15 male, and his boyfriend Keith, 16 male, snuck out to a party Saturday night and apparently got pretty wasted. They somehow managed to get to my oldest son's, Joseph's, 20 male's apartment sometime around 4 a.m. Instead of calling me or having Keith call his parents, he instead let them sleep it off at his house. And I didn't get a call till sometime around 10 that morning from Joseph's girlfriend to come pick them up. I was furious. After picking up the boys and giving them a good talking to and dropping Keith off at his parents', I called Joseph and asked why he didn't call me or Keith's parents the moment they showed up or took them home himself. He tells me that it was better they sleep it off there and he had to go to work at 7 in the morning. I screamed at him that it wasn't his decision and I had been worried sick waking up in the morning and not knowing where Ian was. That he should have called me their father. Joseph tried to get me to calm down and told me that he was trying to avoid me blowing up at Ian. This got me hot. I yelled at him that I didn't give a damn about what he was trying to avoid. That I'm the dad and that he should have called me because anything could have happened. He tried to apologize and I just told him I would talk to him later. Ian ran up to his room after we got home, but not before saying that Joseph was just trying to protect him and that I went way overboard on calling him at work like that. Am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole OP. You did exactly what they thought you would. Even though your oldest son had their bags and kept them safe, if it happens again, Chances of them going to his house may be slim now, just because they don't want him mixed in the middle of their dummy teenage decisions. And getting yelled at too, as if he's a child. I get the initial freak out. I would too, not knowing what happened to my son. But once I found out he was safe, that's when we would talk and see why he felt like he couldn't come home or call me. And be thankful that he went to a trusted adult's house, as opposed to who knows what. You should apologize to your oldest son and speak to your youngest. Now for some comments. Parent to parent, you're the a-hole. Your temper and anger have fostered fear and resentment in your own kids. They don't trust you in those situations, and your oldest felt they needed to be protected from you. Your anger is most likely fear masquerading as anger. Try being actually honest about how scared and fearful you were for the boys. Also probably time to consider some therapy to help with your communication skills. You're the a-hole. Kids do dumb things and parents are there to teach them right from wrong and consequences of their actions. Clearly, your children don't feel comfortable coming to you. Your 15-year-old went to his brother's over your house. Your 20-year-old admitted he didn't want to deal with your screaming. I'm not saying it's okay if your 15-year-old snuck out and drank. He should be held accountable and learn from this moment. However, all you are teaching them is to avoid you at all cost. You're the a-hole. You are responsible for managing your own emotions. If your children know that you are prone to getting emotional and blowing up, then they will continue to hide from you in order to protect themselves. In this case, Ian went to Joseph instead of you for help. Because he knew that you would blow up. They called Joseph not only to fill their immediate need for somewhere to sleep it off, but also to manage you. If you want that to change, you need to make it clear to them that they can call you for help when they need it, and that you will not blow up. Then follow through on that consistently. Story 3. I, 23 female, live with 2 people, both women in their 20s, and part of my job involves driving around and traveling. Never international, yet at least, and it isn't glamorous. I stay at cheap motels. So to be clear, the air fryer is mine. I bought it fully with my own money. There are other things in the apartment, like my roommate bought a blender and my other roommate bought a coffee machine and toaster oven, etc. I don't mind if others use the air fryer as it just sits on the counter. Because it is mine, if I am home and someone wants to use it, they will ask me first, because I might be wanting to make something soon. And it is the same with other people's appliances, we all ask. The only communal item is the oven and stove and microwave. In the last year, I have been traveling a lot more, and to save money on food expenses, I bring the air fryer with me. I also like eating healthy and don't want to eat out often. So with the money work gives me for food expenses, I just buy raw meat and vegetables and store them in a cooler in the car. If I'm on the road, and when I'm lodging somewhere, I put them in the fridge. When the time comes, I'll just plug in my air fryer and season them up and toss them inside. I also have a small rice cooker and will do that as well. My one roommate doesn't really care, but this pisses off my other roommate. The first time it happened, she blew up at my phone. She said she had food cut and ready to be air fried but couldn't do it. She was pissed when I got back and said that I can't just take appliances. I told her that it is my appliance and I can do as I please. I told her, and this is where I could be an a-hole, that I wouldn't throw a bish fit if you took the blender with you. She said that she uses the air fryer for most of her meals and meal prep. I said, use the oven or stove when I'm gone. She said she uses it to reheat her food and that the microwave just isn't as good. I don't think any of this is my problem. If it is really that important to her, I feel like she could just pick up an air fryer herself. I told her this and she said they are too expensive, which they aren't, but I just said it isn't my problem. Recently, I was on the road for a whole month and I did a lot of cooking, to the point where I saved money and was able to just do fun things with that extra money. And stuff like this has happened before. She's taken her blender places and our other roommate took her coffee machine when she was staying somewhere else. I don't see why this is my problem. Maybe I could be partially the a-hole for not warning her the first time, but it is mine, so I just don't see the point. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Your roommate is talking nonsense. You have every right to take your air fryer and use it. She shouldn't plan her entire diet around someone else's stuff. And if the air fry is essential to her life, she buys her own. If I were you, I wouldn't lend it to her when I get back because she feels entitled to use it. Not the a-hole. You each have something in the kitchen that is used by others at times, and you all take the items you personally purchased with you at times. No biggie. If your roomie is in love with air frying a lot of her meals, she needs to get her own so it will always be there when she wants it. She knows yours is yours and that sometimes you use it on the road. End of discussion. Technically, you're not the a-hole because it's your air fryer and you can do with it as you please. However, I can't help but feel that the issue comes down to miscommunication. Although you associate appliances with individual ownership, the fact that they're in a shared space and available for anyone's use makes them communal, even if preference is given to the true owner. If you want to reserve something for your exclusive personal use, I recommend storing it in a non-communal location or otherwise being clear about its availability to others.